In Germany and Scandinavia, the god Donar and the god Thor, they had the same function. He represented the planet Jupiter, and he represented the greatness of what it could be as a human. Our bravery, our strength, our power, our nobility, our ability to love, take care of our families. Thor is a god for the everyday man. And he is denoted by Thursday, which is today, Thorsdag, and he is also representing the hall, the first hall of Aries, which is hall that he lives in, which is Thrudheimer. One of Thor's big job in our ancestral practice is he comes out of Asgard to protect the sages. He protects the seers. He protects those who are doing the work of the gods, who are speaking to the ancestors, who are doing the spiritual work. He also protects those who are serving the land and who are serving their children and their families. He is a protector, and his might is fierce, and he can lay down curses onto people through lifetimes. This is why Thor has told me to never speak ill about a spiritual teacher. I made that mistake a long time ago. I had some issues with one of my old teachers, and Thor smacked me, and he smacked me really hard to learn this lesson. And what he told me was that at every stage of human development, there are a cadre of, like, a group of spiritual teachers around the world. And so if you think about it, like in the Norse cosmology, you have 9 layers of consciousness, from the basest, most elemental layers, which has very little self-consciousness, to Helheim, which is barely conscious, Svartalfheimr, which is the master-slave consciousness, Jotunheimr, tribal consciousness, Midgard, human consciousness, so you only care about humanity, Vanaheimr, where your consciousness is big enough to expand into animals, plants, humans, nature, and all spiritual beings. Ljósafheimr, which is where your consciousness expands to incorporate the spirit world. And then Asgardian consciousness, which is a consciousness that expands to all cultures, all gods, all divinity. All right? So it's really important that every person walking on this planet, whether they're Norse or Germanic or not, they are at a certain level of consciousness. And we have, in Norse magic, we have an understanding of where somebody is based upon how their energy feels and what kinds of deities and how they worship their deities. And for each of those realms, there are a group of mystics, and their job in life, this is their fate that is meted out by the Norns. Their job is to teach people and to help them in their spiritual journey. And I know people feel like they're justified in calling out spiritual teachers, and I thought I was, and I actually suffered greatly, because the thing is, it doesn't matter whether you think the teacher is a poor teacher or not. That teacher is a teacher for somebody. And if you go around speaking poorly to teachers and people who are giving out spiritual information, you could throw a block, a barrier to keep somebody from the information that they need in order to spiritually grow. And we're all at different levels. We're all at different consciousnesses. But this is a very powerful lesson that I learned from Thor. Never. If somebody is giving free spiritual advice, if they are helping others, and they are genuinely, you could tell that they're genuinely trying to help others, do not speak ill of them. Speak kindly. Have respect. They're doing great work in all the realms of consciousness. And even if you were to come across a teacher who is of lower consciousness than you, if you were to speak out against them, you would suffer such great karma that you would basically get a lot of the darkness that that person is supposed to have. In order to learn their lessons, you will get that. The Norns are very strict about this, and it is really hard, and I see it every day, especially on social media. Everybody thinks they're justified in calling out other spiritual practitioners. And I just want to warn you that there are gods out there that will punish you and will curse your Veerd. They will curse your threads of fate if you do this. Everyone who is teaching is doing so because they want to help. And if you think a teacher is harmful, all you have to do is, if you notice that your they have students, if a teacher is harmful and a student comes to you and says, hey, my teacher has done me harm, help that student. Give them love, give them wisdom, give them the things that you know. Maybe you can share your teacher, or you can help teach them to get out of that lower consciousness. A lot of times there are toxic trauma bonds in the student-teacher complex. It happens. People get stuck. They have family trauma. They refuse to move on from a teacher that actually isn't meant to be theirs. A lot of people actually train under people they're not meant to train, and that's okay. And it's okay. They will eventually learn. That is the thing, is as long as somebody is doing the rituals, as long as they are observing the elementals and talking to the gods and doing their Saith practice, their utiseta, their sadhana, I think in Hinduism it's called sadhana. If you're doing your utiseta, if you're doing your Saith, if you're doing your rune galdar, you are going to learn the lessons and you will grow out of any toxic teacher dynamic. Do not speak ill of your teachers, or Thor will get you. And Jupiter has a way of punishing you. He comes around every 8 years, and he will give you the punishment that you deserve. And he will remove all of your blessings. So please understand that there are teachers for every level of consciousness and development. And there are severe rules, and there are gods that will punish you if you speak out. So I know that probably goes against what a lot of people think, but it's very important that we do not create stumbling blocks to other people's development of spiritual growth. It's important that we support everybody at whatever stage they are in. The teacher for the fool will seem evil to the teacher of the sage, okay? But they're all doing their work, and that's the key. All right. I know it's a rough lesson. It was rough for me to learn. It was very humbling for me to learn this. But speak well when you see others teaching others spiritual truths. It's important that we support spiritual growth at all levels.